It really is the hardest thing I've ever gone through, and I'm hoping I'm past the worst of it. I'm telling you is my journey so far, and what I can recommend. But it's the hardest thing I've gone through. Uh, I think we can all. There's a lot of us who can say that, but we're getting through it. We're getting through it together. You can do it too. And welcome back, guys. Thanks for being here. My name's Eric. If you're new to the channel, I've been a long hauler for about 6.5 months now, and I've gone through quite a bit myself, just like we all have. And so I wanted to put out a video that was just a few tips and tricks or advice or whatever it may be for any new long haulers who were struggling with the new day-to-day. Because I know when I was first sick and it wasn't going away, I just was on YouTube and scouring the internet for hours and hours a day, looking for everything and anything that would help. And although I don't have a magic pill or anything that's going to fix you like that, I believe these are all very important for both your physical, mental health. And so, let's get to it. Quick disclaimer, I am not a doctor. I am just some guy on the internet. Don't take any of this as medical advice. This is just my opinion. And just another thing, just want to let you know, I understand that these things that I'm going to be talking about, they're hard to do. They're not easy. Some of them you may disagree with. But either way, this is what I believe will be important for you guys and myself. These are things I practice. These are all things that I wish I had 6 months ago when I first got sick. I truly believe that they would definitely cut down on a lot of the suffering that I experienced. And so either way, let's get to it. So number one, accept that you have a chronic illness. I didn't say a terminal illness. I didn't say a permanent illness. A chronic illness, meaning it's going to be a long-term thing. That could be months. That could be over a year. Who knows? A lot of people are getting better, somewhere around that 6-month mark. I definitely felt something myself, 5-6 months. But I am definitely not 100% by any means either. I still have hard days. I woke up today, hurting. So, but either way, this is going to be a long haul. It's appropriately named. It's going to be a long-term deal that you're going to have to put up with. And we just don't have any other choice. All we have to do is move forward. So I think the quicker we can get our minds around that and not constantly look for the quick fix or the cure to whatever this is, I think the better off we'll be. Now, that doesn't mean just get over it and move on. Do your grieving. This is a serious life event where you've lost part of who you are. Probably a very important part of who you are, if not a good majority of who you are, for a good long while. I understand. We are all in this together. We all feel it. But there's no other way but forward. So just understand, this is a long-term thing. Grieve, and don't be afraid to grieve. But after that, let's start moving forward and see what we can do to get better. Number two, learn to recognize your limits and stick to them. This is unfortunately one I think we all have to learn the hard way. With the post-exertional malaise and the fatigue that hits us, it's very important for your not only just feeling better in the moment, but I believe your long-term success and the rate at which you heal, avoiding going beyond your energy envelope, as they say. If you believe you can do X, do half of X. It's vitally important to not push yourself. This is not the time. It's been shown time and time again that the exercise is a absolute no. We all think, oh, we can just push our way through it. It's not happening. It doesn't work that way. You have to stay within your energy envelope. The whole gradual increased exercise routines have been shown not to work. Honestly, if you're going to do anything, at most go for a short walk if you're feeling up to it even. But I know a lot of days I'm just laid out in bed relaxing as much as I can, you know, trying to meditate or whatever it is, just to keep your body calm. The fewer stressors you can put on your body right now, the better, because your body really just needs to come to a point of homeostasis. It's gone crazy. Not that anything in your body, not that any part of this is in your mind, because this pain and the fatigue is very, very real. But I believe the autonomic nervous system, which is based in the brain, is very much a big part of what's gone wrong in the long-term effects of COVID. Even after the massive inflammation dies down, which takes several months, it did for me, the autonomic nervous system, and I'm not going to get into that. You guys can do some more research on it. I talked a little bit about it in my last video. The autonomic nervous system is very much out of whack and needs to be re-regulated back to homeostasis. And the least amount of stress you can put on it, on your body, on your mind, is going to benefit you in the long run. So there's that. Number 3, be selfish. Now, I know that can sound interesting, but it's a very important one. Let other people pick up the slack for you. I know it's counterintuitive for a lot of us. A lot of us are doers, but you have to let people take care of you. Whether that comes to doing the chores around the house or other responsibilities you have to delegate some of these, because you just can't do everything anymore. For now, there's gonna be a day, I 100% believe that there'll be a day very soon that we recover 100%. And at that point, you can make up for everything that the others have done for you. But you have to be selfish right now, because if you push yourself beyond your limits, you're only going to extend the suffering and the length of this illness. It doesn't benefit them. It doesn't benefit you. And it's important not to feel guilty about this. No one wants to be the burden. No one wants to be, that person who is being, taken care of constantly. But right now, as a chronically ill person, you have to take care of yourself. So that's very important. Be selfish. Yet again, another difficult bit of advice here, but it's very important to be fueling your body with the correct things. I'm not going to say you have to stick to one diet plan over another. You don't have to go vegan. You don't have to go paleo. You don't have to do whatever. But you know what's good for you. You know what's bad for you. Now, some different tips and tricks. Low histamine diet. You can look online. There's plenty of low histamine diets out there. That's shown to be helpful for a lot of long haulers with MCAS and different things like that, which I won't get into. I know a big thing for me was cutting down on the inflammation. That was a big deal, because I had a lot of chest pain and neuropathy and all kinds of things that were led from this inflammation. So cutting down things like red meat was huge. I've had red meat once in the past 6 months, a few weeks ago, to test if it was still something I was sensitive to, and I was. Cut out red meat. Me personally, I can eat pork, I can eat chicken just fine, but beef does it to me. So I would take some good supplements. Any kind of anti-inflammatory supplement may be good for you. The D3s. You've probably heard a lot of this kind of stuff before. I'm not going to go deep dive into it. But the antihistamines, the H1, H2 blockers, I myself take Claritin and Pepsid, I believe. That's kind of the combination of H1 and H2 blockers that I take that I find to be the most helpful. I take them twice a day. But from what I understand, it's not the same for everyone on which H1 and H2 blockers work for them. It might be Allegra, it might be whatever. Put in whatever brand name. But supplements are a good deal for you. Fish oils are good. You can go on and on for different supplements, but get that in check. A big one is the sugar to take down that inflammation. Just cut out sugar anywhere you can. Sodas are a big no-no. you just feel like garbage, and you feel amazing when you get off of them in the first place. You know, you'd be amazed where you can find the sugars and the carbs and the everything. You know, even things that you would think are healthy for you. You know, you look on the back and it's got 38 grams of sugar in it. So I would just avoid sugar and just be more mindful at the grocery store. And I think another big thing is this isn't a diet, as in like to lose weight. You know what I mean? This isn't a diet to look differently or anything like that. This is a diet to get your body regulated. And so it stands to reason to not have any cheat days. You know, this isn't like, oh, I get one day a week where I can have a piece of cake. You're going to regret that piece of cake, not just because you're guilty. Your body's going to tell you you should not have eaten that cake, and it is just going to slow down your recovery. So no cheat days. Next, be kind to yourself. Don't compare yourself to other people. Even people who have long haulers, condition, disease, illness, don't compare yourself to them. There are people who get better in just a couple months. There are people who get better at 6 months. There are people who get better after a year. There are people who are still struggling after a year. We don't know, and it's different for everybody. Don't compare yourself to someone who didn't get the virus, someone who did get the virus and, got over it within a week or two. It's just not good for your health. You're just putting more stress on yourself. Don't do it. Another thing, limit your research. This was a big one for me because, as I told you, I was on the internet for hours a day, researching anything I could. And you're going to find that you will kind of just run into patterns of the same article rebranded across all platforms of media and research that is spread across all the internet, and you don't really find anything new after a while anyway. So limit your research. Obviously, we want to learn everything we can about it, but try and pick up on the trends and find what's working, what's not. And that's part of what this video is about, to kind of point you in the right directions of a lot of these things, because believe me, I've got so many hours invested in research, and it really wasn't healthy to do. So I would avoid it if I were you. Additionally, support groups. Sounds like a great thing, and to a point it is. Relating to people who are going through the same thing as you can be a powerful thing. There's I think the biggest one right now is Survivor Corps on Facebook, which I'm even a part of, and I would just say limit your exposure to that too. A lot of times people post there on their worst days, and it's not necessarily the most positive thing to read through. Now, I understand the point of it, and it can be a good thing, but I wouldn't spend too much time there. It's kind of a rabbit hole. You might find yourself just getting more and more depressed, reading the stories of some people. Like I said, I'm not bashing anyone's story or anything like that. I'm just saying, for your own mental health, limit it. Also, you obviously want to go see your doctor and get the tests done that you need to get done. Unfortunately, a lot of times, a lot of us, our tests and things like that come back looking perfectly normal. You get an ultrasound and your heart looks great. You get blood work done, you've got nothing wrong with you. You've got an x-ray, they can't find anything. Yet you definitely feel these symptoms. They're not in your head. You're not making them up. They might have stemmed from your brain, but the brain and the body are crazy amazing things that can have immense power over each other. You're not making this up. But at the same time, understand that doctors don't know everything. And they definitely don't know everything about COVID. They don't have a quick fix pill. At this point, they're really guessing. We are the guinea pigs as far as learning how to solve this riddle called long COVID. So just understand, not every doctor is going to, not any doctor is going to be able to give you a for sure answer on how to fix this. But I think a little bit of common sense and working with your doctor where you can be beneficial. A lot of times things like prednisone helped me amazingly cut down on that immune reaction I was feeling. So they can help there, but my point is they're not going to come up with a magical pill to fix you. It's not here. It's not there. Also, these vaccines, if you have seen my other two videos, you know that there are a lot of people, including myself, who have seen a lot of benefit from these vaccines, feeling better post getting shot with those. And I myself had Moderna, and I saw some benefit after the first one. And even though I had some reaction, I had a flare-up, as we'd say, after the second shot and the first shot, I was feeling a lot better. Not perfect. I myself am not 100%, but my day-to-day is a whole lot better after getting the shot. So if that's still something you haven't done, I would look into it. I know there's a lot of taboo and worry and stress around getting the shot, and I understand that. But if you feel like it's right for you, it was something that I would go back and do myself if I could. The choice is up to you. In addition, guys, try to have a positive attitude. Try not to stress out too much about things. I know that's very difficult when you feel like garbage all day, every day. Believe me, I've been there. I'm there often. But just try not to stress out about things. You know, you can't always control what happens to you, but you can always control how you react to things. And so I would encourage you, try to keep in your lane and in your thinking, and keep a positive attitude on things. If it can only help your recovery. Your mind's an amazing thing and can do great things to your body. It can do horrible things to your body. So I would definitely keep your thinking in check as far as your attitude. Number 5, I think, form a plan. And what I mean by this is just see if you can structure some kind of recovery process, and understand this is more than anything going to take time and some effort on your part, but time's a big part of this. But try and structure it, you know, whether that's meditation or you have some goals in mind, you know, along your process, or whatever it may be. I know a lot of us are using programs like ANS Rewired is what I'm going through personally, and I'm finding immense value in that program. Just from the knowledge and the different steps involved. Find some kind of structured plan to try and get you through this process or this illness. I think it'll be better than just waiting in misery and just sitting there waiting to get better. Actively trying to get better and having a plan to do so might be beneficial. So I would check out ANS Rewired. There's other ones like the Gupta program, I believe. There's a few others. Some of you reached out to me with some different programs, but I would research autonomic nervous system, recovery, things like that. But I'd recommend ANS Rewired. Now, it's not a free program. It's a little bit pricey, but you know, I think we can all agree if it would help, there's nothing any of us wouldn't spend or do to get better. So check them out. And finally, guys, number 6, expect relapses. You know, this is kind of one that you don't want to hear, but it's going to happen. Relapses happen, and it's okay. It's not necessarily your fault. They're going to happen regardless. There are things you can do to avoid, or at least diminish the effects of a relapse. You know, things like avoiding the sugar and the anti-inflammatory diet and those kinds of things, staying within your energy envelope, things we've talked about. But the relapses are going to happen. It's kind of one of those 2 steps forward, 1 step back. That's just part of this nasty, disgusting illness, and they're to be expected. I saw a quote the other day, I believe it's from Zig Ziglar. It says, "Never let success go to your head, and never let failure go to your heart." You know, I think that applies very well to this. You know, there are days you feel almost, at least me, there are days I almost feel perfectly normal. And I feel I can go golfing again or running. And by this point, I know better. But staying within that energy envelope and doing what you should, even on the good days, not letting that go to your head is important, because again, we want to give our body as much time to recover as possible, but at the same time, on those low days, don't let it get you, don't let it take the steam out of your engine or the wind out of your sails. It's gonna be horrible. It really is the hardest thing I've ever gone through, and I'm hoping I'm past the worst of it. All I'm telling you is my journey so far and what I can recommend, but it's the hardest thing I've gone through. I think we can all, there's a lot of us who can say that, but we're getting through it, and we're getting through it together. You can do it too. Overall, guys, just try and keep the stressors off your body as much as possible. This is going to take time. We can do it. You can do it, guys. That's it for me. If you like this video, share it with anyone else who is going through the similar long haul symptoms and having issues. Maybe they need to pick me up or some tips. Share it with who you want. I guess do the YouTube things where you like and subscribe down below. I usually don't care how much my videos get liked and subscribed, but I think these COVID ones are pretty important, so that would be appreciated if you did so. And I'll catch you next time. See ya.